Hey guys, Tyler Ansman here with Tyler Ansman Performance. So today what we're going to talk about is thoracic extension and its relevance to kind of high velocity throwing. All right, so I think everybody probably pretty well understands that this is an important part of throwing, but what can often happen is if we're lacking that thoracic extension mobility, what we'll do is we'll sub lumbar extension for that. And that causes problems for a couple of reasons. One being that we have a less stable base to then rotate around, right? If we get too extended through that lumbar region, what's going to happen is all of these stabilizers are going to come out of their optimal length tension ranges, so they're not going to do as good of a job at stabilizing that part of your body and giving the mobile joint, your thoracic spine, more kind of a more stable base to rotate around at high velocities, right? The other piece is it puts a lot more then on the scapular posterior tilt and glenohumeral external rotation to find that layback, because thoracic extension is kind of that third piece to layback, right? Thoracic extension, scapular posterior tilt, and then glenohumeral external rotation. And so if we don't have one of those elements, there's going to be a lot more put on those other two pieces, okay? And so if you're somebody who already throws well over 100 and you're subbing, lumbar extension for thoracic extension, then clearly you're a world-class adapter. You've worked around this. There's probably not going to be a whole lot we change, right? Usain Bolt broke records with scoliosis. So there's a level of adaptation that occurs in these elite level athletes where we're probably not going to make changes because the downstream effects will be negative to the point that we're probably, inhibiting how much money they can put in the bank, right? So we don't want to do that. But if you're somebody who's subbing lumbar extension for thoracic extension, you throw 80, we probably need to make a lot of changes. And so where are these changes going to come from? Well, let's start with where the problem began. Is it that your spine is just kind of completely locked up through thoracic extension and we need to do some mobility work? Could be. Is it that you've trained solely in the sagittal plane for too long and you suck at rotating? Could be. Is it that you were overcoached to throw over the top or just to throw darts as strikes, and so we're too linear with our delivery? Could be. And it really depends on which of these kind of is the problem in terms of what's causing this, outcome, and then that'll determine where we attack that issue, right? So if we need mobility, we have interventions we can do for that. If we need to give you kind of more rotational ability, we have general and specific interventions we can give you with that. If you just need to kind of get a little bit more athletic and less linear in your throwing, we need to do a little bit more rotational work, that kind of stuff, where you get out of just kind of this throwing strikes, throwing darts mindset, we can do that as well. So there's lots of directions we can go with this. But I think it's important to understand the difference between kind of this global extension, or certainly kind of this lordotic posture where we're really getting into this overly extended lumbar position, versus what thoracic extension actually looks like as part of the pitching delivery. All right, if you got questions or comments, feel free to drop them below or shoot me an email. We'll see you next time.